Hi everyone, I'm Clem and welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be doing, just a terrible book tag. I don't really have the name of the creator, but I have his channel, so it will be linked down below. I think it's Tripped Cover Lit or something like that. Anyway, it's a tag in which you have like 9 questions, and instead of talking of books you like, you're going to talk about books you think are terrible. Like there are several questions and it's to talk about terrible books. So I thought it would be nice for once to talk about books I don't like, and you're going to see there's a lot of books I don't like. Just before starting, I'm going to make a disclaimer, like I'm going to talk about books I don't like, but it doesn't mean that you shouldn't like them or that I'm against you. It's just my opinion, and please don't kill me for my opinion because yeah, we're a nice community, yay! So the first question is, what was the worst book you ever read for pleasure? And for this I'm going to go with Allegiant by Veronica Roth, so it's the last book in the Divergent trilogy. So, this book, I read Divergent after I saw the movie and I really liked it. Then I read Insurgent, which is the second one, I hope. And it was my fave because I really liked what was happening in this book. And then I read the last one and I almost DNF'd it because it was awful. Like, it was horrible for me. Like, it didn't make sense with the other books. Like, for me it was like Veronica Roth had asked someone to write the last one without telling this person what was happening and how the characters were and all the development she had done through the two first books. And it made absolutely no sense for me. The ending was lame. I was just happy that, what's her name again? Triss died. Like, for once something interesting happened, but didn't make sense and I didn't like it at all. So it was really, really a terrible book. The second question was, what was the worst book you read for school? So last year I studied abroad, like for 1 year in Leicester in England, and I had this class about crime and literature. And at first I thought it was going to be nice. We were going to talk about like Sherlock Holmes and everything, and really crime, and how like the detective stories and the crime fiction evolved through time. But actually no, it was crime, like how crime was depicted in books, but in the 17th and 18th century, and it was boring. And for this class I had to read Moll Flanders by Daniel Defoe, and let me tell you, I had a hard time reading this book. It was really, really, really slow and not good and interesting. I didn't care at all for Moll, and just too many pages for such a short story. Like, oh my gosh, I read this book, I don't know how I did it. Like, I'm really proud of myself for reading this book and going through it. It was really, really not good. Next is, who is the worst writer ever? This question is actually hard because me not liking an author's book doesn't make him talentless. Like, for me, I really respect all the authors because I want to be one, and it's really hard to write a book. And so, I don't know, maybe I would say the worst author to read might be Flaubert. Like, it's a French author, and is really popular for making huge descriptions. Like, for instance, in one of his most famous novel, Madame Bovary, there are 5 pages where he describes a plant, and then 5 other where he's just describing a chair, and so it makes it really long and really boring. Next is worst book to movie adaptation. Here I have several answers that could work, but I don't know if I should pick like an awful adaptation but I still like it, like I like to watch it even though it's not good, because I completely separate the book from the movie. Or should I pick just an awful adaptation that I don't like at all? So maybe I'm going to pick that, and for that the book would be The Fifth Wave, because actually it was a good adaptation but I didn't like it. as a movie. I don't know. I don't know. It's because I could pick The Fifth Wave because it was a huge letdown for me. I don't know why. I didn't really enjoy it. Then I could also pick Percy Jackson because they destroyed the books with the adaptation they make, especially the second one, even though they tried to like make Annabeth blonde, but it still didn't work. They were too old and too many things that didn't work, and also one that's really not great but I still enjoy watching it is The Mortal Instrument. I love the movie. I don't ask me why, I just love it. Maybe it's because of the actors, and I think it's because of the actors. But Shadowhunters, I don't know what to say about Shadowhunters. I think they stopped reading the book after the first season, and even in the first season there are so many things that are like not possible or wrong, and when I saw spoilers about the finale I was like what happened? You know, there are books you're supposed to read, you have nothing to invent, just read the book and write a script, and then here you have an adaptation. Stop inventing stuff when you have a book and it works. Like, I'm mad. Next is, what is your least favorite type of video to film? I don't really know, because usually if I don't like a sort of video I don't film it, but if I had to choose something I'll film and I don't really like is reviews, because I think it's not interesting for you. Like, I feel like I'm not interesting enough to film reviews, so I don't film them. But if I have to choose something I'm filming, I would say wrap-ups, because once again I feel like my opinions aren't developed enough, and I'm going to try to work on this in the several one, like write my reviews and then do a sum up for you, so you have my real opinion, not just yeah, it was amazing, I loved it, but you know, problematic, so 3 out of 5 stars, next book. You see, not really interesting, and I'm not proud of myself for doing that because I feel like I'm not giving content enough. So maybe wrap-ups, because I need to improve them. Next is, what is your least favorite type of video to watch? Once again, if I don't like a sort of video, I'm not going to watch it. But maybe I was going to say reviews of books I don't read, but I don't watch this because I know I'm not going to be interested and I don't know what you're going to talk about. But maybe, I don't know, it's hard. I don't know, if I don't want to watch it, I don't watch it. Maybe book hauls, just because I'm jealous, because every time people are buying like 10 books and I'm like, I'm super poor, I haven't bought a book in like 3 months, and here you are with your 10 books and you're like, yeah, sale, I went to Barnes and Nobles, and then I went to book outlet, but in France there are no Barnes and Nobles and no book outlets, and I'm really sad because I want to buy books, okay, but I can't. So I'm jealous. 7 is, worst book cover ever. Oh, lots. Lots of them need to be like... We need to do something about them. In my mind I have the Vampire Academy books that are really shitty, but it's like books from the early 2010 where it was so cool to put people on the covers, like, and without nothing to do with it. What I have in mind, I don't necessarily like the Legend covers, especially because like they're really, no, this one actually I like it. I mean the Legend covers, but not this one because I think it's pretty gorgeous. I love the rose, and this one too, but Legend, you see, it's really, once again, 2010 books, and I don't know, I'm really upset because Rebel is coming out in September, so it's the 4th book in this trilogy, in this series, and like, come on dude, do something, like, can we have new covers? Like, I love this book, but the covers could be so much better, and I think people would like read it, and they will discover an amazing world, and they will fall in love with it just like I did. Next is, what is the least fun you ever had reading a book? And here I'm going to go with Hair of Fire by Sarah J. Maas, because it's this book that made me stop reading Throne of Glass. So let me tell you, I read Throne of Glass in French, the first one, because my best friend Sarah read it and told me it was amazing. I read it, I fell in love with the story, and I was so hooked and I wanted to know more. Then I read Crown of Midnight and perfect, short, amazing, everything I needed, love it. Then it took me 1.5 years or maybe 2 to get to read Hair of Fire. I read it last year and it was a disappointment, just like I predicted, because I had Jenny and Sarah, I saw them like read the rest of the series, and I saw them like complaining about it and saying that it was problematic and too long and too focused on Eileen and the fact that Eileen was really boring. So they didn't give me like, I didn't want it to read it after hearing them. And so when I read Hair of Fire, I was so bored. I listened to it on script, like I think at a speed like maybe 1.5 or 1.8, and I was almost not listening to it because most of the time it's not interesting what's in this book. Like you just have Eileen, oh yeah, and I'm tired but I want to fight for my country, oh yeah, I'm in love with Rowan, but like, you know, problems. She doesn't speak like that, but for me she's like a whining bitch and I don't like her, and so it was not fun at all to read this book. But I wanted to continue the series, but once I finished it I said no, I'm going to sell this book, and now I don't have them on my shelves. And last but not least, last book you DNF'd. And I know I DNF'd. Oh yeah, the last book I DNF'd was Rose Royals by, I don't remember her name, but I talked about it in my wrap-up. And I started it, I went through 40% of the book or 50, I don't remember, but I got bored and I didn't care about the characters, so I stopped it because I wanted to read something else, and the thing I read instead was amazing, so you know, good deal. But yeah, not good, and I'm not going to read it again because it was supposed to be funny. A lot of people were telling, yeah, I laughed so much during this book, and I was like reading it and I said, okay, this is not fun. This is boring. I don't care about what's happening. I just want to know how this ends, but I never found out how the book ends. So okay guys, that's it for today. I'm going to tag a few people in the description box down below, so go check it out to see if I tagged you. Tell me in the comments down below what is the worst book for you, like the worst book you ever read. I would love to know, so I won't read it. And yeah, don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you aren't subscribed yet, and I will see you next time. Bye guys!